1. Russia 12,566. Victory Day Parade Rehearsal. Russian Army T-14 Armata main battle tank at Sadovaya Street, Garden Ring, in a column of tanks. Russian Army T-14 Armata main battle tank at Sadovaya Street, Garden Ring, Moscow, Nepal during the Victory Day Parade. The Global Firepower (GFP) World Index lists Russia as one of the top 5 world powers. With a vast amount of land to protect, 17,098,242 km superscript 2 or roughly 11% of the world's landmass, it makes sense Russia is the country with the most tanks. Russia possesses 12,566 battle tanks, an estimated 36.6% of tanks from the top 5 countries with the most tanks. Of those, 8,168 are reported as being ready for use. The T-90 is Russia's most developed battle tank. The tank has an autoloader-serviced 125mm 246 main gun with 5 km of range in its basic form. 2. North Korea, 6,645. North Korea has maintained a strong military presence under the Korean People's Army. The history of tanks in North Korea goes back to their adoption after World War II with the foundation of the Korean People's Party. In the 1980s, North Korea started manufacturing its own tanks. Today North Korea possesses 6,645 battle tanks, an estimated 19.4% of tanks from the top 5 countries with the most tanks. 3. United States, 5,500. United States Marine Corps, USMC, Abrams M1A1 main battle tank on parade for attendees at the MCOS Miramar Air Show in San Diego, California. The United States is known for indulging in military spending, which includes spending money on tanks. Since World War I, the United States has produced battle tanks. The country uses tanks such as the M1 Abrams and its variants. There is a heavy version of the M1 tank made for subarctic temperatures called the M1A2 System Enhancement Package version 3 tank. The United States is the NATO country with the most battle tanks. The United States has an estimated 16% of tanks from the top 5 countries with the most. 4. China, 4,950. Chinese battle tank taking part in the tank biathlon held in Russia. According to the Global Firepower Index, China is a top 5 world power. The Defense Intelligence Agency reported in 2018 that China's tanks were a mix of older and more modern vehicles. One of China's newer tanks is a Type 15 tank, equipped with a 1,000 horsepower diesel engine, giving it a 28:1 horsepower to weight ratio. The diesel engine is less affected by altitude than gas engines, giving the tank an advantage in mountainous regions. Overall, China possesses 4,950 battle tanks, an estimated 14.4% of tanks from the top 5 countries with the most tanks. 5. Egypt, 4,664. Egypt is ranked as a top 15 power in the Global Firepower Index. Over the past couple of decades, Egypt formed agreements with the United States for tank production. For example, Egypt and the United States have worked together to co-produce M1A1 Abrams tanks, third-generation American main battle tanks. Today, Egypt possesses 4,664 tanks, an estimated 13.6% of tanks from the top 5 countries with the most tanks. 6. India, 4,614. Battle tank and military men take part in rehearsal activities for the India Republic Day Parade in New Delhi, India. It is no surprise that India, a country with one of the world's most powerful armies, also has a large number of battle tanks. Some of India's most notable battle tanks include the Arjun MBT, T-90 Bhishma, K-9 Vajra, T-72 Ajay, and Vijayanta. The Arjun MBT is a tank with a single MTU multi-fuel diesel engine and consists of a 120mm main gun with armor-piercing fin-stabilized discarding sabot ammunition. The tank can reach speeds up to 67 km per hour. India has a history of trade deals for tanks with Russia. Some of the tanks used in the country are of Russian origin, like the T-90 Bhishma tank. In 2001, India purchased 310 T-90 tanks from Russia. The original tank was the T-72BU, but the name was changed to T-90. French, Russian, and Indian engineers also upgraded the tank. The T-90 has a top speed of 60 km per hour. The tank uses a 125mm 2A46 smoothbore tank gun and 1 G46 gunner sights. 7. Iran, 4,071. Iran possesses an impressive 4,071 battle tanks. One of its most remarkable tanks is called the Karar, an upgraded version of the Iranian T-72S tank. The upgrades improved the tank's combat abilities. Some of the upgrades include a new fire control system, turret, and add-on armor. The tank has a remotely controlled weapon station armed with a 12.7mm machine gun. The Karar was first publicly revealed in 2017. The Soviet Union gave Iran some Karar tanks. The Russian tank T-90MS is similar to the Karar, and there is speculation that the Karar is a license-produced version of the T-90MS. 8. Pakistan, 3742. Pakistan has many battle tanks, including MBTs, Type 59/Al-Zarar, a second-generation battle tank based on the Chinese Type 59 MBT, and VT-4 battle tanks. In 2019, Pakistan formally inducted VT-4 battle tanks into its armory. VT-4 battle tanks are China-made battle tanks. Pakistan was the third country to buy the tanks from China. Pakistan has also worked with China to develop tanks. The Pakistan Armory has 350 Al-Khalid MBTs, developed in the 1990s by Pakistan and China. There are other military battle tanks in the Pakistan Armory. Pakistan operates the T-80UD MBT, a variation of the Soviet T-64 MBT tank. The tank was first introduced into the Pakistan Armory in the late 1990s. 9. Syria, 2616. Syria ranks 9th on this list, with 2,616 battle tanks in its possession. Many of these tanks are of Soviet or Russian origin. Due to the ongoing civil war in Syria, estimating the exact number of tanks is difficult. Including vehicles and storage, reports from 2015 indicate Syria had 2,250 T-55 T-55 MV battle tanks. Of these, 2,000 tanks were from the former Soviet Union. Originally, the armory had more of these tanks. However, as of March 2011, the civil war destroyed an estimated 682 tanks. Other tanks in the Syrian armory include T-62KM and T-72 T-72M. 10. South Korea, 2331. South Korean K2 120mm MBT, main battle tank. The South Korean armory has many sophisticated battle tanks. The most famous among them is the K2 Black Panther tank, one of the world's most advanced main battle tanks. The tank is better than most tanks in China and North Korea. There are also claims that the tank is better than the famous M1A2 Abrams. The K2 Black Panther is also one of the world's most expensive battle tanks. This tank's development began in 1995 and the first prototype was developed in 2007. Protection for the K2 is similar to the protection of the M1A2 Abrams tanks, but the K2 is a lighter tank. The armor can withstand direct hits from 120mm tank rounds fired from L-55 guns. The K2 has a German Rheinmetall CN08 120mm/L-55 smoothbore gun. South Korea also has had trade deals with other countries that wish to acquire the tanks. In 2022, Poland made a deal with South Korea and acquired 980 K2 tanks. While keeping peace between countries is ideal, conflicts between countries never cease to exist. From tensions between Taiwan and China to the war between Russia and Ukraine, tanks still have a vital role to play in 2023 warfare. In the Russia-Ukraine conflict, tanks are seen as key for either side to gain territory on the battlefield. Countries with more battle tanks have more military advantages and can change the outcome of combat. As technology changes, so will tanks and the nature of military technology. Humans have come a long way from firing bows and arrows from horse-drawn chariots.